This is not poetry for money or poetry for poultry, not poetry for gyal, no soft voice and the tone is not lusty. This poetry can be identified by country. This is not poetry for popularity. Trust me, I do this for my sanity. This is not little man poetry. It's so massive it towers clouds and commands crowds to not make a sound. This poetry is sound. Way heavier than a pound. Way heavier than your whey protein weight gainer. This poetry is shaped nice and stays tight like your wifey's waist trainer. This is not fast food poetry, but more cornmeal porridge poetry. Yam and banana, no fertilizer, organically produced, old-time farmer poetry. What is that? I can't understand that poetry. For the barren mind, this is strong back poetry. This is not fake woke rapper poetry. Not for the blokes in Iron Apple poetry. This is not your football chanting, "Ooh, oh, yeah," poetry. No woe is me sentiments when you hear my sentences. I rose from the trenches like Derek with a vengeance, kid. This poetry right here will show you what Relentless is. I didn't need an invitation or acceptance. I just made my own room in poetry. Early days, Channel U, I came through fuming poetry. But now I see man mimic trying to channel me poetry. Must be using robots and AI to hack this poetry. Cause I'm do-rag sweatband AI. This is just my practice poetry. Style is madness and might seem reckless, but this is a mental workout like chess and checkers. Plus this poetry come with more method than Wu-Tang records. Poetry look like me, you know. Young philosopher might twist up patois and slang, mix it with your Queen's English. Bangers and mash like, oi, what do you mean English? Yard man, red passport, oh, you mean English. Might seem distinguished, did a mean as silkish. Listen, this is not your long and or your shortlist poetry. It does not hold the hand of the long arm of the law. This poetry is lawless poetry, rebellious and gorgeous poetry. See, my poetry is more Anthony B. Might never see me in your anthology, but there's no way you could ever tell me poetry doesn't look like me. When I come from a big small island of big boy writers, Babylon fighters, spiritual guiders, big woman who set fires to oppressive empires, Marlies and Zephaniahs, Jean Binter licked a piece of breeze that hit the seashore, honor the Fords and Lornas and Kwame's that kick down big doors. I'm from a culture of blues and rhythm, good food in the kitchen, where we don't pay mind to your ism and schism. Take time and listen to the language of our hearts. Poetry runs through we like a river to the sea. From the mouths of sound boys to revival service. Poetry is the tones of dance hall and the prayers in churches. Poetry looks like curry goat on paper plate and 9 nights for the late. It looks like granny's black mint tea and the sway of the Caribbean Sea. Poetry looks like me. Daddy don't dance, he just pulls up his pants and does the rock away. He leans back so far you'd forget he's there. Anytime he gets musical, he's the first to grab a chair and he stares at all their steps. How are they getting them so correct? Every time they're going right, he's going left. So he's stressed. Instead, it's best he just sits this one out again. Watch from a distance, think what he would do if he were them. Daddy wants to dance like the Cubans. All the passion I possess, I want to put it into movement. I want to turn my tense frame into something fluid. To put my emotions into motion, rolling from my shoulders, embolden my hips to flow with this wine I'm holding. Daddy wants to dance like Freddie Mercury performing Don't Stop Me Now. Or James Brown wowing the crowd is trying to get up off of that thing. He knows dance will make him feel better, but better yet, he's still stuck to the seat. He just nods to the beat, silent taps of the feet. Daddy wants to take your mother out dancing in loose fitted clothing. I want to keep going until the music stops and the bar starts closing. Will she ever see me lose all inhibitions, move how I envision? The cruelest disposition is to learn you've not been living in this body you've been given. You're smitten with music. I'm sitting as usual, watching you groove to new soundscapes. I wear my proud face as you mount your mum's waist, both swaying, twirling and playing. You send me inviting looks, show me the way in. Each time I knock down a glance, it's the more you learn. Daddy don't dance. Because at a young age, Daddy got dashed off stage for having no rhythm. So of course that caused that ism, to make my body feel like prison. Flesh and mind are not in alignment. Daddy don't dance because he's trapped in his own confinement. Black boy blues. They see us hanging and want to make us strange fruit. What's a black boy to do? Anytime we group, we're called a black boy crew. Is it criminal to have a black boy hue? Black boy blues. They crop our existence on the evening news. Even when we're the victims, they make us look accused. Guilty until proven innocent amongst a jury of sneers are the black boy rules. Black boy blues. I see the game of life is set to make a black boy lose. Innocent white lies, but we get persecuted for our black boy truths. No freedom in body or mind. The world turns a blind eye to my black boy views. Black boys in any society are not allowed to play any role other than aggressor. We are branded as lesser. With double the portion of expectation, there is nothing like black boy pressure. Inherited ignorance has been the linchpin for modern lynchings. Upheld ignorance is your hindrance to seeing me as full, seeing me as rounded. Will you ever see me as an unabridged man, birthed into the same earth the same way you were, or will I remain something you refuse to understand? Black boy blues.